In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about what layers are, how to create new layers and delete them. Remember that when you open a new image, you always want to start by going Image, Image Size, resizing your image to a printable size. So this is 72 by 48 inches right now. I'm going to make it 12 by 8. I have my aspect ratio locked so it stays the same dimensions, and I'm going to change my resolution to 300 pixels per inch. Get into the habit of always doing this first. Then I'm going to add to my layers panel. So my layers panel is right here. I can create a new layer by pressing this little square button with the corner turned over. Right now this new layer is empty, but if I were going to do something on that layer, it would start to look differently in this box. I can also create new layers by adding adjustment layers. We will talk more about what those are, but for our purpose right now I'm just going to create an adjustment layer that's easily seen. So you see that brightness contrast layer became a new layer on top. If I want to unsee the changes that I made on that layer, I can press this eyeball icon and it will disappear, and I can bring it back to decide if I like the changes that I made on that layer. I can also rename my layers. So maybe I want to give this a more descriptive title so I remember what I'm working with. This layer lightened everything, so maybe I'm remembering that that's what it did. And maybe I decide that that layer is not a layer that I like. I did not like that change. I can delete that layer by having it highlighted. It is light gray. And going and pressing the trash can. And saying that it is okay to delete it. I want to also delete this layer 1 because it's not doing anything right now. You always want to keep your layers panel pretty well organized and delete unused layers to keep it simple. It will get more complicated as you add more layers. Another way to edit non-destructively, which is what we're doing, we're not changing this background image, but we're changing the layers on top that affect how we see the image. Another way to do that is to take your background layer and drag a copy by dragging on top of that new layer button. Now I have a copy of my background. If I were going to implement a camera raw filter, I would want to do that on a background copy so that I don't change the actual original image. I'll talk later about how to do the camera raw filter.